$10 million. Gone. Transferred in a single phone call. To a voice that
DARKWIRE, real stories from the wire.
didn't exist. It is early 2020. The United Arab Emirates is riding an economic wave. Oil revenues are climbing. Foreign investment is flooding in. And inside a mid-rise commercial tower in Dubai, a finance worker is doing what he does every morning. Scanning overnight reports, cross-checking ledger entries, drinking the same bitter coffee from the same paper cup. Routine, predictable, safe. Then his phone rings. The voice on the line is immediately familiar. Calm, authoritative, slightly impatient in the way powerful men sometimes are. The CEO explains there is a sensitive acquisition underway. Confidential, time-critical, not to be discussed with colleagues. He needs $10 million moved today. The worker has processed large transfers before. He has heard this voice in 100 meetings. He has no reason, not one, to doubt it. He clicks confirm. What he does not know is that the CEO never made that call. The voice was a machine, and somewhere far from Dubai, a group of fraudsters just watched $10 million begin its journey into the void. To understand how they pulled it off, you have to understand what AI voice cloning actually does, and how disturbingly easy it had become by 2020. The attackers did not need months in a studio. They needed samples, public earnings calls, keynote speeches, investor presentations. The CEO of a successful Emirati firm had spoken publicly dozens of times. Every interview, every conference panel, every recorded board address was raw material. Feeding those audio files into a neural voice synthesis model, software that by 2020 was commercially available, some versions free, the fraudsters could generate new speech in the target's voice within hours. Inflection, cadence, the slight pause before a decision, the particular weight on certain words, all of it replicated, but the voice call alone would not have been enough. Weeks before the call, the attackers had already been inside the company's communication layer. Business email compromise, BEE, is older than deepfakes, and it is brutally effective. Fraudsters register domains that look almost identical to a company's real domain. One letter transposed, a hyphen added. They study the company's email style, its signature formats, its approval hierarchies. Then they begin seeding messages. A note from legal flagging a pending acquisition, a follow-up from the CEO's assistant confirming the deal is under NDA. By the time the voice call came, the finance worker had already received a paper trail that made the request look legitimate. The deepfake voice was the final lock click on a door the attackers had been quietly picking for weeks. The money moved through at least 17 bank accounts across multiple jurisdictions before investigators could begin tracing it. The UAE, Hong Kong accounts registered to shell companies in Eastern Europe. Each transfer happened within hours of the last, never sitting long enough to trigger a freeze. And here is where it gets worse. This was not an isolated experiment. This was a proof of concept. And it worked so well that the playbook was copied almost immediately. In October 2021, Forbes journalist Thomas Brewster broke the story wide open. Court documents obtained from a UAE fraud investigation revealed that the same technique, deepfake audio layered over a Beck email campaign, had been used in a separate but nearly identical attack. This time, the target was a bank branch manager. This time, the number was $35 million. The fraudsters had impersonated a company director, manufactured an entire email chain supporting the story, and then delivered the voice call as the closing argument. The branch manager transferred the funds believing he was following direct instructions from a senior executive. $35 million, the largest known deepfake audio heist at the time of publication. Investigators in the UAE filed requests to the United States Department of Justice, asking American banks, specifically Signature Bank and Frost Bank, to freeze accounts that had received portions of the stolen funds. The court filings named at least 17 individuals suspected of involvement. None were publicly charged. The money, investigators noted, had already moved on. The FBI's cyber division had been watching patterns consistent with this attack methodology since late 2019. The first known use of AI voice cloning in a corporate fraud had occurred in 2019. A UK-based energy company lost $240,000 after its German parent company's CEO was impersonated on a call. That case, reported by the Wall Street Journal, was almost dismissed as a curiosity, a one-off. Investigators who flagged it as a template for future attacks were largely ignored. They were not ignored after Dubai. Task forces began mapping the network. Forum chatter referenced an operator known internally as the Conductor, a handle appearing across encrypted channels linked to multiple BEC operations. The name suggested someone who did not execute attacks directly, but coordinated them, supplied the voice cloning infrastructure, took a percentage. Investigators in 3 countries cross-referenced the alias against known best actors. The leads were promising, then they went cold, because the fraudsters had anticipated surveillance. Every communication ran through layered VPN chains. Voice calls were placed through VoIP services registered to fictitious identities. The burner phones used during the Dubai operation were purchased with cash in a city neither in the UAE nor in Europe. The email domains were registered through privacy-protected registrars and abandoned within 72 hours of the attack completing. There was no server to seize, no physical location to raid. The operation existed, and then it simply did not. In February 2024, CNN reported on a $25 million deepfake scam in Hong Kong. A finance worker at a multinational firm was brought into a video conference call with what appeared to be the company's CFO and several colleagues. Every face on that call was a deepfake. Every voice was synthesized. The worker transferred $25 million and did not realize anything was wrong until days later when he contacted the real CFO about an unrelated matter. Hong Kong police confirmed the case publicly. The faces on that call had been generated from publicly available footage. The voices had been cloned from earnings calls. The Dubai operation, the one that started this, had shown it was possible with audio alone. By 2024, the attackers had added faces. The finance worker in Dubai was never publicly named. His employer was never publicly named. The investigation remains open. The $10 million has never been recovered. The Conductor, if that person exists as investigators believe, has never been charged. What was recovered was something harder to quantify. The understanding that the human voice, the thing we have trusted instinctively since birth, can now be forged. Not approximately, exactly. Companies responded. Dual authorization protocols for large transfers. Callback verification through pre-registered numbers. Voice authentication systems replaced by code words agreed upon in person. The security industry generated hundreds of millions in new contracts. Training videos were produced. Awareness campaigns were launched. And somewhere in a room with the curtains drawn, someone fed a new voice into a new model, listened to the output, and smiled. The wallet is still full. Anyone with the key could move the fortune tonight.